Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission, where lifelong learners share our knowledge and experiences to help each other mutually grow. You can visit us at alphacommission.com. It'll have a link to our Discord, and obviously the market is down, so there's a little bit less activity. People are understandably wary about their money, and for good reasons that we've explained here on this show. But today I just wanted to talk about the Super Bowl crypto madness going on. And, not much has happened with the price change of Bitcoin. Really, what we're talking about is the same thing that we've been seeing, the last couple days. The market's been basically on pause. Everyone's waiting for the Jerome Powell meeting on Monday, see what the Fed says. And so there's not much to talk about in terms of price, but at least in terms of change. But one thing that we can talk about is some of these responses to the Super Bowl ads, where there was a bunch of crypto commercials, and I thought some of them were pretty entertaining. I don't know what you guys thought. There's a lot of mixed views on it. A lot of, I think gamers don't like NFTs and crypto in general, like the mainstream gamers, because they just see it as a way for the big corporations to make another cash grab. And that's very relatable because that's usually what these big corporations do, and Web 3.0 isn't perfected yet, and also they're going to be controlled primarily by these big VCs. So no matter how it goes, there's going to be a transition phase where a lot of big companies are going to be trying to make cash grabs. And you can understand why a lot of people would be reluctant to start paying for add-ons for their games and things like that. But moreover, the crypto market in general isn't looking that healthy right now. The stock markets aren't looking that healthy. The tech sector isn't looking that healthy. And so, we have some comments that I thought were pretty on point. We have a Gareth Soloway here, and this comment really stood out to me. A history lesson. In Super Bowl, what was that, 34, played in 2000, the year 2000, there were so many .com ads played, a total of 14 different ones, that it was dubbed the .com Super Bowl and marked the top before many went bankrupt. This Sunday, the Super Bowl has many crypto commercials. Food for thought. And yeah, food for thought, because I think there were actually more crypto ads. I'm not sure, I didn't count, but I think there were actually more crypto ads than there were .com ads in the year 2000. So was that a top signal? The mainstream is often a little bit behind the smart money. And, are they trying to build up the mainstream to be the exit liquidity for the smart money? I don't know, but that was a lot of money spent on ads in a down market. Are they trying to pump it back up? That doesn't really make sense to me because think about it. Who has money right now? Nobody has money. Are they really gonna just, are people gonna see those ads and they're just gonna suddenly go out and put their life savings into crypto? I don't think so. Those ads didn't even explain anything about crypto. If you didn't understand crypto, you know, before seeing those ads, you definitely didn't understand it after seeing the ads. And so what was that? What was it just, is it just try a cover to try to make people think that the crypto industry is healthy or something? Is it just to try to build awareness? Why would you it doesn't make sense to me, okay? Like, that was an unnecessary expense at this time in the market. But, maybe I'm just feeling a little bit bearish right now. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit bearish because, if we, I've looked at the market a whole bunch of ways. We've been going over this stuff. You can watch a few of my past videos, and I think it's going to be eye-opening. I don't, I'm not as technical as some people. I don't follow the rule book perfectly, but if you go back and watch some of my videos, you're gonna see, some pretty eye-opening patterns that are starting to come out. And right here, I want to show you here with the Gaussian channels, just Another way to visualize this, I think I've shown you like 4 or 5 ways to visualize what might be going on right now, but here's another one, okay? So normally we have this pattern in Bitcoin where, you know, these channels are basically, they're called like, a lot of people call it quicksand, right? Because whenever you get inside of these channels, you just sink to the bottom. You sink to the bottom. And you have to spend some time outside of it even to get back inside, if you really hang out at the bottom. So, you can bounce off of it, and that can be quite healthy. You can just tag it, you can bounce off of it. But you can get into the middle range and try to break your way free. But once you get inside, you kind of get stuck. You kind of get stuck. You cross it, you come back up, and you can test the middle again, struggle, and you drown, right? So this has to do with averages and those sort of. You spend too much time away from the center of the channel, you get dragged back in eventually. You can't just zoom off to outer space, okay, while this channel goes sideways. You always come back. And so even if you dip down, you get too far away, you're always gonna come back, okay? And then it's gonna have the reverse function. Well, we popped up back here, this was the end of 2019, and then we had this crash which brought us down in March 2020. But look, we bounced off the top. We didn't bust this all-time high. We had another one of these. I was explaining it before where we have this kind of double, you know, double peak, and then we kind of have like some kind of relief, and then we chop and die, right? And I didn't mark it out on this one because I wasn't so zoomed in, but you can see it here too. Here's kind of like a double peak, and then a tiny relief, and then or maybe that was the relief. You chop and you die, basically, right? And then this one was a little bit sharp because of a COVID, but then you take off. Then you take off, right? Peak, right? Maybe that was supposed to be the peak, and this was just a little bonus that we got because everyone had their stimulus check still. And then chop, and then die. Okay, that's what I'm projecting is gonna happen. I'm a little bit bullish. I was a little bit bullish. On Friday, and where there was hope that we could get above the center of this channel, where there was hope that we could get up here and maybe start testing these 50s. And I still think that's a possibility. It just depends what happens Monday. So, by the time many of you watch this video, maybe you'll already hear the announcements by the Fed. Maybe you'll already understand what's going on with Russia. But for me right now, I'm seeing this rejection off the middle, and I'm just getting pessimistic because whenever you see a rejection off the middle, you do this, right? Rejection off the middle. Well, it tried. Okay. Boom. Right. Rejection off the middle. Are we gonna test the bottom again? And then we've been hanging out here too long, and we're gonna dip down, right? Maybe into that 28 zone, maybe as low as 25. I don't want to be ultra bearish about this stuff. I think that we are getting these rounder cycles on Bitcoin, and so maybe it's just going to be softer than we think, or who knows? Maybe we can pull out of this and work our way out, because again, this rounded top is very different than the past. We had these jagged chop downs, even here, kind of jagged. But this was very round, and that roundness softened the blow. I think that that softened blow because we didn't have that blow off top that just didn't take us a mile away. It took us half a mile away from the center, right? And so we didn't have that kind of dramatic counter reaction. We just kind of rounded, right? Well, maybe we'll do it again. Just kind of round, or maybe even more gentle. Maybe these Gaussian channels keep rising, and you know that means our low is going to be a bit higher, right? Because this is rising still. You make another effort, bounce off the middle, like that. Maybe. That's the bullish case. This is what I'm actually biased towards, just personally. On a sentimental level, I'm biased towards this type of an outlook. Maybe this wave is compressed a little bit closer, so it might not take all that time. Just ignore the time. But maybe this type of structure. And but we have to be aware of this type of pattern that does occur, right? It just kind of chops its way down, gets stuck in the quicksand, chops its way down, and then, I don't know what you call this, but it gets its floaties on or whatever. It floats to the surface, and then you get a nice run, right? Nice run. So we need to get our floaties back on, right? We need to touch the bottom of the pool. We tagged it once. Are we going to tag it again? We need to really get some reverse momentum to like slingshot up though, right? Otherwise, we're going to just drag on here for a while. And you can see it can take quite some time. What was the time here? That was 180 days, right? So 180 days. Well, just wanted to show you a new way of looking at the charts there. Um, if you ask me, we look almost identical to this area. We look almost identical. And I could almost even imagine, this thing just rolling over and creating that slingshot for the future, right? Whatever this shape does to build in energy and sling us back up, I can imagine that that's a very realistic possibility, something like this, right? Something. And again, I showed you this on one of my earlier videos, but just I want to repeat this pattern. I didn't show it to you in the context of this Gaussian channel. I just showed it in isolation. But look, we have a high, and then we have a crash, and then we have a recovery, and then we have a flash crash that's just as low as the crash. And then we can skyrocket, right? I think I was showing you this before we had this crash. Well, look, we've had a crash, we've had a recovery, and then we've had a flash crash that's just as low, just as low. This was a little higher. This is a little higher than that. And so, yeah, it's possible that we do make a recovery here. That's why I'm biased towards the bullish situation. But the reason I'm showing you all the bearish possibilities is because uh, whenever we got in this quicksand, we do that chop and drop, right? We do that chop and drop. And while we could argue that this was a bit more like this, where we just tag, let's say we just tagging the middle, come back up to the top, and then crash down, and then work our way back up, all right? Almost creating a head and shoulders here, which then gives us a target, like in this area. Well, yeah, I mean, that could be happening. That could be happening. It's just we got rejected. We got rejected. We didn't get rejected here. We got rejected here, right? So that would be sort of like this. and then rejected, chopped down. That's why I'm thinking this might be a possibility, right? Break down, work back up, rejected, chop and drop. I don't hear too many people talking about the chop and drop, right? Where gets all choppy and then you drop, but it happens a lot on Bitcoin. And even on these micro patterns, I'm not really even talking about the macro, but the even on the micro patterns, it happens a lot. So keep your eye out for that whenever you see this type of a rejection, um, because that's a distinct possibility. And although it could be this type of pattern that's happening, stick your toe down, then bounce up and escape. This was fueled by a lot of money. This was fueled by a lot of free money in the market. And we don't have that free money anymore, right? Countries aren't printing money anymore. They're talking about increasing interest rates. They're not talking about lowering them to make free money, right? So, what's more likely, that we do the chop and drop or that we do the skyrocket to heaven, as a V-shaped recovery? Well, I just pointed it out, we got rejected. That was a pretty harsh rejection, right? And if we go down lower, start to break here, I mean, we could come down and at least test the bottom of the channel, which would be what, mid 30s again, mid 30s. So that would be a medium, the medium case scenario. Not too drastic, not that 25, but maybe mid 30s. And I mean, could there be good news that just pops us back up? Yeah, I mean, there could be. Could be good news that just pops us back up. And then maybe we're going to make a formation sort of like this one right here, right? Where if we can get on top of this, and just kind of like hang out there, then maybe we can test the top, maybe come down again, and then come up, right? Something like that. And that would top out approximately 55,000. There's some resistance, so you could say anywhere between like, you know, 49 to 55, whatever. It's going to be something a little bit bearish. It's going to it's going to pull us back down. And then, market conditions will have to dictate if we get another chance to the upside or if we pull back into this quicksand, because we're going to have to break out of the quicksand, right? So we could get rejected again, do this thing again. But yeah, this is just another way to look at it. Just another way to look at it. So, yep, I don't know. Was the Super Bowl a top signal? You tell me, okay? Usually that enthusiasm dies really quickly. Everyone gets excited before the Super Bowl. Everyone gets excited before an event, and they just forget about it. Right? They forget about it right after the event. No one cares. No one cares. They're gonna, they made awareness about crypto. That's good for the long run. It's not gonna just like people aren't gonna just dump billions of dollars into crypto the next week, right? That's not gonna do anything for us on Monday, right? So so people might be selling that news, right? Everyone's enthusiastic, everyone's euphoric about the Super Bowl ads. Well, that's a great time for the smart money to sell, right? And dump on us. So I don't know. I'm watching for the news on Monday. I'm watching what's happening in the markets. I'm watching to see the tech stocks. And then I'm very cognizant about whether or not this channel is going to turn red, whether or not we're going to dip back down and potentially start chopping, right? That's going to be a very bearish signal if that does start happening. And if it doesn't, if we can break above it, then hey, we have another shot. We have another shot potentially at that 50 zone. It's been about 20 minutes. Gonna let you go, but there's your alpha for the day, and stay safe, guys. Happy trading.